Hello guys, welcome back to Grounded Roots Healing. I remain Jason. I just did a video about a difficult energies and a point in my awakening journey that I'm at. But all of that was triggered by a shamanic journey that I just did. I'm not sure what order I'll post these, but it doesn't really matter. But this shamanic journey was one of the most profound experiences ever. I've had some pretty profound ones now, and this one, they just keep getting clearer and more obvious. And it's become clear to me that I not only am a shaman now, which I would never have picked myself to be at any point in my life. As anyone who's known me would say. But I have been many, many times in the past. And on this particular journey, I got to meet a lot of them. Now, it was quite profound. Like I said, it's amazing. This shamanic journeying is something I think everybody should experience. I know it's not limited to me, and maybe it's particularly easy for me because I've done this a lot of times in past lives, but not probably. That's a good chunk of the reason, and I will be a shaman, and not everybody is a shaman. But the journeying part of this, everyone can do this and should do this. If you can experience this stuff, it takes away a lot of the doubt that you have about, let's say, God and the existence of an afterlife, and just go see it for yourself. I did a video about direct experience of God. I think it was my last video. And why in the hell wouldn't you? What are you afraid of? I mean, I understand the religious portion of this and the brainwashing that comes with that. But just realize that that's what that is. There's a reason that a lot of the religions don't want people to do this. Okay, so we'll describe the shamanic journey. Now, this was designed to be a middle world. It was a lower world followed by a middle world journey. So the lower world is where your ancestors are housed, and the middle world deals with emotional issues, relationship problems, things in this realm that you're existing in this particular incarnation that you're in right now. These are all interconnected. There is no difference, and you can travel between them all. If you've ever seen a toroidal field, you understand what's going on here. The lower part of the toroidal field is the lower world. The middle is what we're living in now, and the astral, it expands outward. And where those two cross is right in your heart chakra. In this avatar you're in right now. It becomes extremely obvious how this works. And then you can also envision that as a Merkaba. So two upside down pyramids, or an upside down pyramid and an upright pyramid. They make a shape. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I went on this journey. Now, it started with meeting one of your ancestors and them taking you, I took ceremonial cacao and I opened myself and I set my intention for the universe to take me wherever it needed me to go. And I ended up following along with Sarah Hall's journey and went where her prompts prompted me to go. And what ended up happening was I was taken through the Milky Way, essentially. I didn't see much of that, but I felt the presence of a spirit guide holding my hand and carrying me through space and time. I couldn't see him, and I did say him. I couldn't see him, and I didn't know which guide it was. But I ended up in a space that I can only describe as a white light. Is this a space of white light? And we were then prompted to, I think she said something like, you're surrounded by your ancestors. And as I looked at this person, as I tried to, say, peer through the light and see a face, the face of a Native American shaman popped up. Now, it wasn't super clear, the face, but I got the impression that it was a southwestern, sort of a desert area of the U.S. Aboriginal American, what we call it. A shaman. I don't know which tribe, I don't know exactly where, but was from the desert Southwest area. And then I glanced at this gentleman, and then I looked to my right. It was going in a circular, around me in a circular area, and I went from left to right, so counterclockwise, I suppose. And the next person in line was a Aborigine from Australia, which I saw his face extremely clearly. He had a patchy white beard, and I could just see his face very clearly. Now, I've always had this connection to a didgeridoo, and I couldn't figure out why. It does something to me. And I think I understand why now. And he smiled at me, and then I moved to the next person, which was a Frenchman. And I do mean Frenchman. Didn't seem like a shaman. He was in a military uniform, a blue military uniform with one of the ornate hats that you see from history. It looked like 1800s, something like this, Napoleonic type uniform. And then the next person in line was a Turkish, I don't know how I knew it was Turkish, but he was like Anatolian horseman, and he was very fierce. I get the impression that he was extremely powerful and a fierce warrior. Also shamanic, but this guy could fight. You didn't want to cross him. That's the impression I got. And then it moved over into, I believe it was the Tibet area. He seemed like a shy individual. I didn't get a really good look at his face, but he was dressed as, well, like the people in the book from Siberia that I have, the Mongolian type gentleman, and dressed in native attire, animal skins and such. Very shy. And then it went to a Shaolin monk, just quickly, and then quickly to a samurai, Japanese samurai, and quickly off of that to a Indonesian shaman dressed in just a loincloth. I knew it was Indonesia, maybe Bali, I'm not sure exactly where, but I knew it was Indonesia. And then we were prompted to this was designed around healing, let's say, familial, genetic, ancestral issues that on each family line, so the maternal and paternal family lines. So Sarah prompted us to interact with the person that was there for our maternal line, and that happened to be this French soldier. And the issue immediately popped into my mind, and it was betrayal. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I just did one like 2 videos ago about karmic betrayal and trusting people, and I have had issues with. It's not that I don't trust them, I just keep getting betrayed. Well, I don't know the exact story, although I do have a good feeling. I think I know exactly who this person was. There is a French soldier on my mother's line that is the progenation of the family name, my mother's family name, as they settled in North America here, in Acadia. And he was a French naval officer, and he died mysteriously. And his son, his pregnant wife, came to meet them, and when they got here to the New World, he had died. Now he was purported to have died fighting natives, but I have this inkling that he was pushed off a ship, betrayed by somebody severely. And then his son was born, and the family name still goes on to this day from that line. And at this betrayal, I don't know how I know any of this stuff, but it stuck with me. It's in my genetics, this fear of betrayal. So we broached that subject with this gentleman. I believe his name is Jean. And and then the Sarah prompted us to talk to the person associated with our paternal line, and then to have any issues that needed to be dealt with on the paternal line brought up. And I've described him in other shamanic journeys, but this cloaked figure, who is obviously genetically related to my father, and I didn't realize that. So he is my spirit guide, my main one. I know his name. He's introduced himself, and I know what he's supposed to show me. You have to watch my other videos to understand what I mean there. And he's a druid, so that became apparent and obvious. So he was a druid shaman. I think that's what they call themselves. And my father has had some mental illness issues, and I've had a lot of shame associated with that. And I started to realize that this mental illness would have, in times when the druid shamans were around, this would have been considered a gift. He could see through the veils, and it became obvious that this is why my father's paternal line had these issues genetically. It's because they're seers. They're shamans. They just didn't know it. So the shame, I was supposed to let go of the shame associated with it, to be proud of them. Like, they're powerful beings, and they're just misunderstood. So the whole point of this was to let go. And then something funny happened. So now this druid had stepped forward, which I hadn't seen on the first pass around, and then a Mayan shaman, which I've had many interactions with Mayan shamans, and clearly I have been one and at some point in history, stepped forward and said, wait a minute, you guys forgot about me. I'm the most important one anyway. Now, nothing spectacular happened with this one, but it is the shaman that I was speaking with when I had my shape-shifting experience, I describe in one of my videos. So it was quite funny, and I remember laughing out loud. This stuff is getting so wild. Now, Sarah prompted, I think she said something, but it gets really strange when you're doing this because you can barely hear the prompts and the things are just happening. So what happened was each person in the circle around me put their hand out and put their hand on me, and they said to, I believe it was Sarah prompted this, that now that they will take this pain and take this trauma away from you, and you're now free of it. So I felt like a white light from emanating from all around me draw this old trauma and old energy out of me, and I started crying. It was cathartic, and it was something that's been with me for a very long time, and now I believe it's gone. It's just unbelievable. So after this process, we journeyed back to the body. I reintegrated into my body after being off on this journey, and my heart chakra was wide open, and I was in tears, and I was dealing with some of the emotions from letting this stuff go. And that is that journey. It was unbelievably profound, with healing involved and a lot of things sorted out and figured out of who and what was holding me back at this point. But it also triggered a lot of stuff that's still stuck in this system that needs to come out, and the cords need to be cut. This little things. And when you're integrating this stuff, I've taken my time before describing this journey, because I wanted to understand exactly what was going on. And I'm still integrating it. I'm still not 100% done with this, and I'm still not sure that this is all I'm going to take from this. It's one of the most profound experiences in my life. So, and they just keep coming. Tomorrow we have I'm not even sure what it is. I think it's a breathwork and sound bowl. And I'm going to discuss conducting a shamanic journey myself. Would be my first one, and I think just some close friends, and see what I can do to show some other people what this is like, and how easy it is to have direct access to these places. Yeah, so even just describing that has made me a little bit emotional and a little bit like, well, I'm huffing, like it's a lot of energy. It took a lot out of me, and I'm still processing. So I think we'll leave it there. So, as I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.